Phoenix, Arizona, a Windshield survey by Gina Polenta, Colleen O'Reilly, Danielle Radicke, and Nicole Melillo.
The Phoenix area has a very rich history in regards to race and ethnicity. It was originally inhabited by the Hohokam people for over 2,000 years. They were the natives of the area. They ended up abandoning the area between 1300 and 1450 AD due to floods and drought, which made the area uninhabitable. After them, the Akimel or Odam people settled alone, and then the Yavapai came, and eventually the Maricopa people settled there. So there was a lot of different native groups there. It's funny because Phoenix is actually located in what is now known as Maricopa County. So the Maricopa people actually ended up sticking, and it ended up becoming the name of the surrounding area permanently. By the end of the Mexican-American War in 1848, a lot of the land had ended up being passed to the United States, and a fort was built in 1865 to quell uprisings from the Native Americans who were resistant to United States settlers and were unhappy that their land was being taken. According to the United States Census website, Phoenix, Arizona is the 6th most populous city in the United States, home to about 1.5 million people. Of those, 65.9% are white, 45.6% of those are non-Hispanic. 6.5% are African American or Black, with 6% of that percentage being non-Hispanic. 2.2% are Native American, following up on the Native American population that we talked about earlier in this presentation. 3.2% are Asian, 0.2% are Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander, 0.1% are other, 3.6% are multiracial, and 40.8% are Hispanic or Latino of any race. Since the 2000 census, the amount of white people in Phoenix has dropped from 71%. You'll recall I just gave the percentage of 65.9% is the current statistic. African American population has grown from 5% to now 6.5%, and the Hispanic and Latino population has grown from 34% and it is now 40.8%. So the Caucasian and white population has dropped, and we've seen a rise in several other minority populations. The most common ancestries in Phoenix include 35.9% of people identifying as having Mexican ancestry, 15.3% identifying as having German ancestry, 10.3% have Irish ancestry, 9.4% are English, 6.5% are African, 4.5% are Italian, 2.7% are Native American, and 2.5% are Polish. The Phoenix, Arizona area is more than just diverse in race and ethnicity, but it is also diverse in religion. As of the 2010 population, the metropolitan area religions included 35% of people identifying as Roman Catholic, 22% were Evangelical Protestant, 16% are Latter-day Saints or Mormons, 14% are non-denominational Christian, 7% are mainline Protestant, with 2% being Hindu and 4% being other.
Most homes in Phoenix were built in the 1990s, with some structures and historical buildings dating back to the early 1900s. As you can see in some of these photos, popular architecture styles include Mediterranean Revival, Spanish Mission, Ranch, Spanish Revival, Tuscan, and Santa Fe style. The exterior of the homes are usually stucco, as this material resists heat and dryness and is relatively easy and inexpensive to apply. Most homes in Phoenix are single-story and without basements because the soil in Arizona has a layer called caliche, a rock that is too hard to dig through. As you can see, the homes in this neighborhood are relatively similar in size and style. These homes are also similar in pricing, with some variation based on lot size and, of course, quality of the home and the neighborhood. Homes in Phoenix differ in their lawn ornamentation, color, some have pools, some homes have chain-linked or cast-iron fences enclosing their backyards, other houses have yards that are enclosed by stone walls, some have basketball hoops in their driveways, and some homes have many cars in their driveways and others have none. Homes in Phoenix are typically detached and have front and backyards. These lots are smaller than what you would see in more rural areas of the state. Houses may be as little as 10 feet apart. Generally, the condition of these homes are good. Lawns are green and well taken care of in some areas. In poorer neighborhoods, there is no grass in the front of the homes, but homes still look well kept. From the street, there are no visible signs of disrepair, broken doors or windows, leaks or locks missing. Phoenix has 38,500 acres of natural open space, which includes landmarks such as South Mountain, Camelback Mountain, Squaw Peak, and the Salt River. As you can see from these images, these areas are examples of high-quality open space where people can hike, bike, canoe, and perform other physical activities. However, Phoenix only has 1.3 traditional city parks per 10,000 residents, which, according to the Trust for Public Land, ranks Phoenix in the 70th out of the 75 largest cities in the country for parks per resident ratio. As a reference point, the national average is 3.9 per 10,000 residents, which Phoenix is well below. Long distances, busy streets, perceived lack of safety, and inadequate or unshaded sidewalks and bike lanes are barriers to access to open space, particularly for children and residents without cars. To address this issue, Maricopa County is planning a comprehensive trail system to connect regional parks and conservancy areas in a large loop around the county. The space previously described is all public and is used by members of the community as well as tourists. Some private examples of open space in Phoenix that may not be accessible to the entire public include golf courses, agriculture, and other developments. Road signs mark the beginning and end of Phoenix boundaries. On the outskirts of the city, as you enter more suburban or rural territory, you will notice the increase in distance between homes and the size of property lots. Located in the Salt River Valley, in the south-central part of the state, Phoenix is situated on flat desert terrain. It is bordered by lakes and the Superstition Mountains to the east, and surrounded by the Phoenix Mountain Preserve. To the south, Phoenix is bordered by the north boundary of the Gila River Indian Reservation. Some alternative names for Phoenix are the Silicon Desert, Valley of the Sun, and Arizona's urban heart. Valley of the Sun is frequently seen on billboards, advertisements, and postcards in tourist areas.
Typically walking the streets, you will see mostly Caucasian and Hispanic residents between the ages of 25 and 35. There are very few unemployed people in the streets, and many stay-at-home moms with their young kids. In regards to what the residents wear, most people will wear as little as possible while staying appropriate. Bathing suits are common, sundresses, shorts, lightweight clothes, and usually the women will carry around an umbrella to stay cool. You will see businessmen wearing a dress shirt, no tie, and dress pants. The one thing you do not leave your house without is sunglasses.
On a scale of 1 to 5, overall health of the Phoenix population is most likely a 3. Major health problems that afflict this population include obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and lung cancer. Mexican food culture is an example of a cultural tradition that may influence health practices. For example, the Mexican diet is rich in complex carbohydrates, which are provided mainly by corn and corn products, beans, rice, and breads, and this may interfere with eating a well-balanced meal. In Maricopa County, the health department's relatively scarce resources limit its ability to comprehensively address residents' health needs. Arizona has a historical lack of commitment to public health funding, and many subgroups, especially the elderly, feel that they do not have access to health services. illegal immigrants are also deterred from seeking health care in fear of being deported. In Phoenix, there is a brown cloud that shrouds the city in pollutants nearly year-round. The cloud is visible in the two displayed photos and is the reason the American Lung Cancer Association gave Maricopa County its lowest grade for air quality in both ozone and particulates in 2005. According to the American Lung Association, 79% of the county's residents are at high risk for respiratory complications due to air quality. Dust pollution stems from construction, vehicle traffic, rock and gravel operations, and other activities. The adverse effects of the dust on health has resulted in the development of a dust control program, which looks to minimize air pollution in Maricopa County. Current operating health facilities in Phoenix include hospitals, outpatient clinics, and community centers. However, the clinician-to-patient ratios across all counties in Arizona are very poor. The clinician-to-patient ratios are 1 to 71 for primary care, 1 to 64 for dentistry, and 1 to 118 for mental health. Cases of chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and HIV have all increased from 2012 to 2016. Chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis rates are all above the national 4-year average.
As a result of politics and laws that used to allow the police to demand papers of people suspected of being in the state illegally, there was a lot of friction between the Mexican community and police officers. African Americans and Hispanics report far less satisfaction with the police than whites. On the other hand, the Phoenix
In Arizona, the drinking age is 21 years old. In 2017, law enforcement agencies made 1,226,344 traffic stops, and of those stops, 26,296 resulted in DUI arrests in Arizona. In Maricopa County, 1,431 individuals between the ages of 8 and 18 years old were arrested for drug possession in 2016. However, as displayed in the table, there has been a steady and consistent decrease in drug-related arrests since 2011. In general, most people in Phoenix are on the overweight side, especially youth. The elderly population also trends towards obesity. On this slide, I've included some examples of supplemental food programs available to people in Phoenix, Arizona. Participation rates for SNAP, formerly known as the Food Stamp Program, in Arizona was only 76% of the eligible population. Participation rates of eligible Phoenix residents are consistent with this percent. Out of 4,018,143 people in Maricopa County, 604,200 individuals face food insecurity. Even with the price of a meal at an average of $2.95, the cost of food is still not reasonable to income in this area. For many individuals, stores are inaccessible. 4.4% of people in Maricopa County are low income and living more than 1 mile from a supermarket or grocery store in an urban area, and more than 10 miles from a supermarket or grocery store in a rural area. For people without cars or an ability to access public transportation, the distance to the grocery store serves as a barrier to food security. Food purchases at the grocery store include bread, milk, butter, eggs, rice, cornmeal, canned foods, and packaged foods. Laws are in place regarding the sale of junk food and vending machines in schools. The sale of things like candy bars, potato chips, and sugared sodas are banned in Arizona. There are even regulations on the maximum amount of calories served in entrees to students. The City of Arizona offers a weekly recycling and garbage collection to all residents. Today, one of Arizona's largest waste issues is focused on the border with Mexico. Water from the Santa Cruz and San Pedro rivers flow north into Arizona from Mexico. During periods with high precipitation, toxic sediments and runoff from Mexican factories across the borders rush into Arizona. These toxic substances threaten the water supplies of Arizona.
Animals seen on the streets of Phoenix include raccoons, squirrels, bats, and possums. There are many types of snakes, but few are actually venomous. Luckily, if you're having any trouble with these animals, they do provide animal control to remove them. Every once in a while, you will see predators like mountain lions, black bears, wolves, and coyotes. Some pests that burst Arizona include tarantulas, bedbugs, ticks, ants, stinging insects.
The Environmental Health Services Division of Maricopa County is responsible for ensuring that restaurants in the county comply with the Environmental Health Code. Each month, the department's inspectors visit food establishments across Phoenix. In addition to restaurants, inspectors visit hotel kitchens, caterers, wholesalers, car washes, bakeries, food trucks, schools, company cafeterias, and grocery stores. Basically any place that prepares or sells food products. You can see the inspection history of any establishment that serves or prepares food at the Maricopa County website. Phoenix has 3 sources of water: surface water, which includes rivers and lakes, groundwater pumped from wells, and reclaimed water used for agriculture and industrial cooling and landscaping. Phoenix has 5 water treatment plants that deliver safe and reliable water to Phoenix residents. Since Phoenix's water supply originates as a snowpack far northeast of Phoenix, the water supply is not dependent on annual precipitation events. Due to Phoenix's diversified water portfolio, Phoenix will not need to impose mandatory water use restrictions in the foreseeable future. Phoenix's growing population is not a threat to the water supply. Rather, the increase in business and population helps to fund further accomplishments in water conservation. If Phoenix reaches a point where drought restrictions are required, restrictions on water use could then be implemented. Heating and cooling is a problem for many people in Phoenix. For example, elderly people who are living on the limits of Social Security may not be able to afford to have central air conditioning units repaired. The development of local nonprofit organizations in Phoenix, such as FSL Home Improvement, help low-income residents pay for repairs and replacements around the home, including those for air conditioning and heating units.
Activity and exercise. There are some public housing options available if needed in different areas of the city. According to recent data from Trulua.com, the median prices for housing are listed below. The average cost of housing in Phoenix, Arizona is $298,265. Most people within this community have cars and are easily able to transport by those means. There are also other options for travel, such as taking the train or bus. There are senior centers within the area where older adults can meet and mingle, also which are easily available, and with some centers providing transportation. There are multiple rec centers within the community with activities planned for the community's youth. There is also a rec center specifically for handicapped individuals, so they too can have somewhere within the community to enjoy. Recreation and cultural programs. Throughout the community, there are many opportunities to immerse oneself into the culture. There are many museums and historical sites in order for the community to learn about their rich cultural heritage. For those who come from specific cultural backgrounds, there are also cultural facilities and programs such as the Japanese Friendship Garden, the Latino Institute, and Pictured, the Irish Culture Center. Those disabled within the community have access to special van transportation as well as special needs assistance through the Arizona Department of Housing, also known as the ADOH, as well as disability grant and assistance. The ADOH may be able to assist you or provide referral to other professionals in the following areas: persons with physical disabilities, people with Alzheimer's disease, people with AIDS or HIV, people with serious mental illnesses, emotional disturbance or chronic substance abuse, people with developmental disabilities, migrant or seasonal farm workers, and victims of domestic violence. Within the city of Phoenix, Arizona, there are many able companies willing to help with the maintenance in and around the home. When looking within the community via Google Earth, the community seemed to be lively with people walking around and driving by. It seemed to be a very active community buzzing with excitement. There are many residential centers for troubled teens and young adults, long-term, longer than 30 days, psychiatric and inpatient treatment. Highly rated nursing homes and residencies for older adults are available in many different locations of the community. Facilities open to the community for rehab are found at this link or are listed below. External maintenance of homes, yards, and apartment houses are found within the city of Phoenix, Arizona, as there are many able companies willing to help with maintenance in and around the home. When looking within the community via Google Earth, the community seemed to be lively with people walking around and driving by. It seemed to be a very active community buzzing with excitement. School grounds are the typical hangouts for kids within this community during a normal school operating schedule. There are some bars downtown which are used by the of-age adult population at night, as well as movie theaters and malls for the general public to enjoy and hang out during the hours of 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. majority of the day. There seems to be no territorial hindrance from the community using the grounds freely. School playgrounds for younger children are fenced off, but for parks and playgrounds, they are open to the public to use at any time.
The people of Phoenix have plenty to do in the area. Outdoor enthusiasts can hike trails in the Phoenix Mountains, kayak or paddleboard in the Temptown Lake, and enjoy desert wildlife at the Desert Botanical Gardens. Dozens of museums with themes like Native American history, musical instruments, toys, and fire trucks provide them a break from the sun. Cheering on Phoenix professional sports teams include the Arizona Diamondbacks, Arizona Cardinals, NBA's Suns, and the NHL Coyotes is another favorite thing for them to do. Each January, more than 500,000 golf enthusiasts descend on the area to watch the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Meanwhile, downtown Phoenix offers.
For most people, sleep is very important, and that is no different in Phoenix, Arizona. It is generally quiet at night, as certain laws have actually been updated recently within the last 10 years in order to make sure everyone gets a good night's sleep. Ordinance G-5444, Chapter 2, Article 1, Division 5, Section 2-22 was amended to increase neighborhood safety and reduce threats to the public peace, health, safety, and general welfare of the population. The ordinance addresses parties, social gatherings, or events which result in disturbing the peace, quiet, and enjoyment of the community. These occurrences often can lead to excessive noise and traffic obstruction of public streets, public drunkenness, underage drinking, fights, and littering, amongst other problems. Most of the residents follow a full-time 9-to-5 work schedule. The unemployment rate as of November of 2017 is 3.4%, which is down from 11.4% in January of 2010. Thus, most of the members of the Phoenix population do need a good night's sleep in order to get the best and brightest they can be. Industries are around the clock. There are certain places that are open 24/7 in Phoenix, including healthcare and social work centers such as Phoenix Family Services, Banner University Medical Center, St. Luke's Medical Center. There are also hotels such as Kimpton Hotel, Phoenix Marriott, etc., and cafes like Urban Beans. So the employees at these places, as well as their patrons, need to be sure that it's quiet at night so they are not disturbed doing their work. The Government says that at and above certain levels, noise is detrimental to the health and welfare of Maricopa County citizens. Therefore, Maricopa County has determined that it is in the best interest of its citizens to control noise in a manner which promotes commerce, the use, value, and enjoyment of property, sleep, and repose, and environmental quality. Therefore, it is hereby declared that the policy of Maricopa County is to prohibit excessive, unnecessary, disruptive, and annoying noises from all sources.
Many people in this area of Arizona drive in and out of neighborhoods. There are many major roads to connect different parts of the community. When looking at Google Earth, there are many sidewalks and side roads, making it an option for people to walk anywhere safely within this community. Pictured is the transit map local to Phoenix, Arizona. This map is easily accessible to the public on the transportation website. There is housing near major highways, freeways, and are easily accessible to those who need it. Locals in the area needing to get around and those who are passing through Phoenix, Arizona, utilize these major highways and routes of transportation. There are multiple modes of transportation available at any given time, and there are schedules posted online that are easily accessible to the community. Most of the community travels by car, but buses and trains are also available. There are a lot of schools in the area, ranging from primary to secondary, with an array of after-school activities such as sports and clubs that children can partake in. There are also a lot of parks and rec centers that the community can meet up at and enjoy a range of activities. While serving the community, there are a lot of healthcare options available to the public within a close range of one another, such as multiple primary care providers, hospitals, specialty groups such as a dentist, chiropractor, podiatry, pediatrician, etc., and palmists. Pictured is University Medical Center of Phoenix, which was awarded one of the best hospitals by U.S. News for 2017-2018. Many people within the community are able to enjoy the parks and being outdoors, being that the weather is on the hotter side there. Many people utilize the park frequently to enjoy the sun. As quoted underneath the City of Phoenix Parks and Recreation Department, building healthy communities through parks, programs, and partnerships. The 211 website leads to a page that has different resources and numbers to call if needing assistance for a variety of problems. This can be very helpful for the community, being that on the main homepage there are hotlines and numbers of support groups in the area. When surveying the community, there did not seem to be a lot of homeless on the streets, and that could be due to the abundance of shelters and food kitchens in the area. However, even though they may not have been seen, homelessness is a real problem in Maricopa County, to which the community is working on improving. As far as delinquency goes, drug abuse, in 2016 alone, the ADHS recorded 790 opioid overdose deaths, and that's an average of over 2 deaths every day. Of those 790 opioid-related deaths, 482 were from prescription opioids. The other 308 were from heroin. Interpersonal violence, 6,263 reported incidences. Of that, 394.7 happened in Phoenix, Arizona. Alcoholism, 13.4% of all deaths to working age residents were attributed to alcohol. Suicide, 17.8 deaths per 100,000 people population. Psychiatric illnesses, 6,500,000 residents, 294,000 of which are living with severe mental illnesses, 221,000 adults, and 73,000 children. As far as unemployment rate goes in Arizona, the unemployment rate varies by race and ethnicity. American Indians and African Americans have had higher unemployment rates than Asians and whites. The unemployment rate was 5.8% Hispanic. African American men and women, ages 20 and above, were 8.2% for men and 7.3% women, respectively, for unemployment. As far as teenagers go, African American teenagers are the highest unemployed at 26.7%.
Revitalization, that's a word, right?
Yeah.
Revitalization, that's how you say it.
So use it in a sentence?
Phoenix Regarding all Arizona schools, they offer open enrollment, which means that children can attend any public school in the state. The City of Phoenix goal is to build connections between city services, community resources, and public schools to ensure Phoenix students succeed in school, life, and career. While the City of Phoenix does not offer K-12 education services, the support it provides to students and families can make the difference between academic failure and success. Phoenix is home to 325 public schools in 30 school districts, along with more than 200 charter and private schools. After high school, only 33.8% of graduates have a higher degree. Within the higher degree, 7.4% of high school graduates obtain an associate's degree, 17% obtain a bachelor's degree, 6.6% have a master's degree, and 0.9% move on to get their doctorate. This leaves Arizona Adult Education Services provides services to learners 16 years of age and older who are not enrolled in a K-12 school. It offers access to educational opportunities to support employment, job training.
There are an abundance of shopping centers in the area for the community to utilize that are easily accessible. However, there are not many neighborhood stores, being that it seems to be a developed community with multiple neighborhoods next to each other.
I'm gonna know. She said she doesn't really care about citations.
No, like it said something different on the screen. The neighborhood is on the rise, and so are the housing sales. In 2003, the housing market crashed, but within the last 10 years, the market has slowly made positive changes. In 2016, there were reported of 200 vacant homes in Phoenix, and in 2000.
Just as everyone is different no matter where you go, health and morbidity is also different wherever you go, and Phoenix, Arizona is no difference. The people with a disability that are younger than 65 years of age as of 2010 is 7.4%. People without health insurance that are younger than 65 years of age is 20.0% on the dot. The highest causes of mortality in Phoenix are cancer, and the highest of which being lung cancer. As we've talked about, the brown cloud does tend to inhibit people's respiratory function, cardiovascular disease, accidents, and chronic lower respiratory disease. As you can see, the largest problems in this area seem to be respiratory, and that is because of the pollution as well as the dust that messes with people's lungs and really can cause big problems.
The average family size in Phoenix, Arizona is 3.7 people. Arizona has been known to have a problem with prostitution in recent years, so the community is aware of this. There has also been reports of sex trafficking in the area, and the local authorities are privy to the problem. Reports show that many law enforcement officers are not properly trained on how to handle prostitutes as well, which can lead to poor outcomes for the community. Arizona does not have a law that requires schools to teach sex education or about sexually transmitted diseases or HIV. However, Arizona law does state that if a school chooses to teach these topics, instruction must be age appropriate and must stress abstinence. The family size and type of household. An average family size is 3.7 in Arizona, and the male to female ratio is 49% male, 51% female. As pictured to the graph on the left, Arizona birth data from 2014. At the bottom, you can see infant mortality rate, deaths per 1,000 live births, 6.1 for the state of Arizona compared to 5.8, which is the U.S. average. In the graph to the right, you can see household types, percentage of households in Phoenix, Arizona. In Phoenix, Arizona, 42% of the population is married, 15.3% is single female household, 6.5% is single male household, 28.4% one person, and 7.8% other non-family. Abortion rates in Phoenix, Arizona is 14.6 abortions per year for 1,000 women of reproductive age. Laws and regulations regarding information on birth control. All minors are allowed to get prescription for birth control without a parent's permission. Title X clinics. These clinics charge on what's called a sliding scale fee basis. A sliding scale fee basis means that the institution helps you pay what you can afford and you pay in cash. If you pay for your visit by using your family's health insurance, then your parents are likely to see the bill when it arrives in the mail. Title X clinics also provide sexual and reproductive health care to both teens and adults. They offer many services including prescriptions for the pill, pregnancy option counseling, and testing for pregnancy and sexually transmitted diseases and infections, including HIV. Sexual violence statistics. As pictured in the graph, you can see hospital discharges related to sexual assault. Emergency department visits accounted for 94% of hospital discharges, while inpatient hospitalization only accounted for 6%. Hospital discharges that were female, 90%, male, 10%, and so on and so forth. The average cost for an inpatient hospitalization related to sexual assault was $36,360, while the average cost of an emergency department visit related to sexual assault was $2,668.
Arizona is the 10th least peaceful state in the nation. In addition to an above average violent crime rate, the incidence of property crime, larceny, and motor vehicle theft in Arizona are each among the 10th highest compared with other states. The table shows that Phoenix, Arizona overall crime rate is 27% higher than in comparison to the Arizona average and 54% higher than compared to the national average. Specifically regarding the violent crimes in Phoenix, Arizona, the rate is 43% higher than compared in the Arizona average and 75% higher than when paralleled to the national average. Phoenix's major daily newspaper is the Arizona Republic. Among the many other daily and weekly periodicals published in Phoenix are the Arizona Business Gazette, Arizona Informant, Jewish News of Greater Phoenix, and New Times. Magazines published in Phoenix include Phoenix Magazine and Arizona Highways. Phoenix is served with 7
The Phoenix people are described as valuing balance. They have their work, but they also appreciate their play. They have sleek office buildings where the majority of the population can work. Again, we do have a low unemployment rate in Phoenix. But they also have recently built and updated sports stadiums, art centers, shopping plazas, and the best eateries in the state. They are highly involved in activism and look to better their area, state, and country. They practice various religions, as we've seen earlier, and there are several places for them to express that religion and to practice their faith. As for tolerating crime, Phoenix actually has a 27% higher crime rate than the rest of the state of Arizona, meaning that there are more crimes being perpetrated there than there are anywhere else. This could just be because it's a metropolitan area. We do see higher crime rates in cities rather than the country or the desert in the case of Arizona. So it might just be that it's because it's a metropolitan area and there's a larger amount of people rather than it's just a worse place with worse people. As we've seen, the people of Arizona are absolutely lovely and have such amazing value and belief patterns.
And here are our references.